Hey, what's up guys? In this video we are going to be modulating FabFilter effects with MIDI clips in Ableton Live. This is a good way to creatively apply movement and modulation or automation within your, the effect that you are using. One of my favorite FabFilter effects is Saturn, and I'm just going to drag that into my baseline. I'll just turn that off for now. This is what I'm working with right now. Right, to get that kick going on there. I'm going to solo that bass, and I'm going to move Saturn before LFO tool. So this is Saturn here. It is a multi-band distortion plugin or multi-drive. There's multiple different algorithms. Just a brief kind of rundown. What it does is it will essentially add some color to your sound. Right, and I might want to turn it on. Right. Adds some grit in there, and we have multiple algorithms we can work with. From top to bottom, it is very clean to distorted, or like really bad. Not bad, but good, but destroyed audio. So you have the clean tube, which is a gentle kind of, I guess it's an asymmetrical kind of transfer function, right? Adds some tube warmth to it, and then destroy is destroyed. It's a mixture of, I guess, bit reduction and all that fun stuff. And there's some amps in between, right? So what makes it cool is it's multi-band, so we can split that up. We can have a different kind of distortion and algorithms per band, right? So we can leave the low end unaffected and then really kind of smudge this mid-range here. And then we'll look at this high end here, and we will boost that maybe. Right, barely hear that. We want some more attitude, we'll go crunch. Right, so all of these together creates an interesting sound that is, it's more warm and it's more lively. So just quick before and after. Right, pretty neat. So we have a bunch of values here, and what we can do is we can control these over time with the modulation section. So this is the modulation section, and we could add an envelope follower, XY controller, and do all that fun stuff, but I want to add a MIDI source. So this is a MIDI source modulation thing here, and before I continue, I'm going to take this, I'm just going to group this for organizational reasons. So yeah, this one right here will be bass. Just name that. And this is the track in question. I'm going to create a new MIDI track, double click the MIDI, and this will be our, we'll just name it Saturn Mod, just Saturn Mod. And we don't have anything on that. It's just a dumb MIDI clip. We double clicked and we have a bar of MIDI. It is looped, and when we hit play, it will play both of those and start both of those at the same time. Okay, so what do we want to do with this MIDI here? Well, we want to actually send this into this Saturn, modulation. We want to send it to the plugin. And how do we do that? Well, we have MIDI out 2 on this area. We can just click on the IO if we don't see that. MIDI 2, and right now there's no output, right? Because typically it will just go into the channel and to whatever's in here. But we can go into this one right here, because there's something in this channel strip, right? The 6 spark. This is the bass. There's something in this channel that will accept MIDI. One of them is LFO tool, and then one of them is FabFilter Saturn. We're sending MIDI to this now, right? So we'll hit play, and yeah, there's MIDI, right? So there's MIDI start and stop, and that light goes on. So we want to, okay, so MIDI is more than just note data. It holds a bunch of different data, and the MIDI standard was presented and finalized like before I was born, and it's still incredibly useful. MIDI is amazing, and they thought of everything for the most part, and it's just an amazing standard. We should feel very fortunate that we have the MIDI standard, and that everything can play. That there's so much flexibility that you can have with it, and there's the reality of MIDI is there's only 2 pins that are used right now, right? There's 5 pins, so there's actually 3 more pins that are there, but they're not necessarily used. So we can build upon it, and we can continue to build upon it with those 3 pins. Who knows what we're going to use for those other pins? But anyway, this is not necessarily that much about MIDI, but it's pretty crazy. But it's more than just note on and note off data. It's more than just drawing in this. More than that, it will hold velocity. It will hold, not note duration, but it'll hold a bunch of other things. And that's just, simple kind of values. What it also can hold is, a value between 1 and 127. And these are variable values. It would be your pitch bend, your mod wheel, and stuff like that. So right out of the bat, in Saturn, we have the mod wheel as a MIDI source. It's listening to that mod wheel. We can have the drop down here, mod wheel, pitch bend, velocity, aftertouch, all that fun stuff. Let's just stick with mod wheel for now. And if we wanted to kind of adjust and draw in a mod wheel, we do that with the envelope. So we click on this button right here. This will be the envelope here, and we have the MIDI control. Right, we want that. That is the MIDI data within this MIDI clip. Very important. We have the pitch bend here on this drop down. We want to go to modulation, which would be 1. Right, we have a bunch of these, right, and a lot of these aren't even used yet. So the best is yet to come with MIDI. But yeah, modulation 1. Boom. Okay. So we have this. Now what? We can actually double click and draw in values between 127 and 0. So we can start drawing in some automation in terms of, well, we're drawing in an envelope, but we can draw this in. And this data is being sent to FabFilter, and we can see that with the MIDI light here. Right, that's continuously on. If I turn this clip off, I'm actually going to make this a tiny bit smaller. If I turn this clip off, we're just getting the stop, it's just saying stop, which is a kind of a global thing that Ableton sends to plugins, I'm assuming. But if we hit play on everything, we will get continuous MIDI being fed. And what can we do with this? Well, there's this little target here, and maybe something a little bit more obvious. I'll just have that. So I can change, I'll just click and hold, and I can change this drive amount here. And I'll just bring that down. And we have the amount here, and we can increase that. You can kind of hear it, right? Right. I'll give you a different example I'll do it right now. So I guess one of the cool things also that FabFilter has done, I'll put this in the same one here, and I'll have this before. So this is Volcano. I'll just go to clean, and I'll leave the mod open. I'll just go to normal here. I'm going to create a new MIDI clip here, insert new MIDI clip, and this one will be called Volcano mod, and I will double click that, and just for fun, I'll make this longer. This is now 2 bars long, right? And these are essentially playing at the same time. I'm going to go to that, and I'm just going to send the MIDI to the Volcano here. I can also send it to Saturn, but it's for Volcano. And I want to send some data to this filter here. And maybe I'll go bandpass. Right. go add source, MIDI source here. Let's take this a step further. So mod wheel is kind of a placeholder. You can apply mod wheel to modulate. Well, that's why it's called mod wheel. It modulates things that you know, it's like an extra thing that you can use for expression, and that can be for like filter or anything on a synth really. And then the other one, pitch bend, is just kind of set for pitch bend. But there's these other ones here. We got controller. So what is this? These essentially allow us to tap into the unused MIDI, I guess, values that are there, but they're not used. And we can see those within this drop down here. We got pitch bend, channel pressure, modulation, foot pedal, all that sort of stuff. But then we have all these controllers here. And, you know, some of these are, you know, hard coded. But the standard is very, very open. So yeah, let's just pick 55, right? We have channel number 55, and we'll go up to 55. So this is the 55 kind of MIDI, you know, channel. Not MIDI channel. This is the I guess the controller hex value location. Let's just draw some stuff in by double clicking. And yeah, I want this to be, yeah, and it's relative, but yeah, let's just move this around. Really fun. Check this out, and I'll map this to the frequency here, and we have our depth here as well. Right. We can't actually see it, but it's relativistic, so we can move this, and it's not being wiggled around, and this automation will essentially move the value relative to this location. It's important to notice that, and the depth of it would be here, right? And that's quite a bit of depth. Right, let's set this to low pass. And we can, you know, make this a little bit more rhythmic, which I enjoy doing from time to time. And that might sound a little interesting. Let's just move that over post Saturn. So yeah, you can just exaggerate that. And yeah, let's move over to the Saturn again. And let's take a listen. And yeah, maybe we can play around with the tone. Or we can, yeah, I want to do something interesting. Yes, I'll do that. Okay, so let's keep that mod wheel there. I'm gonna add a new MIDI source. This will be controller, and yeah, this is just a basic kind of placeholder. We'll go 15 because, or sorry, 14 because it's, I guess, empty and not used by anything really. And you know, this is just the power of MIDI here. So this was, yeah, 14. I will set this to 14, then move this over to, yep, there you are, to the pan. And we can do all sorts of cool stuff with that. And what's really neat is this is kind of, I guess, it's automation that is, it's easy to change later on down the road. If you were to draw this automation in the arrangement view, it would be somewhat, cumbersome. But here we can, map it out, and we can change it. We can make some of these longer, some of these shorter. We can even make these like in weird, I guess, divisions. So we can set the loop in kind of that regard. Let's listen to that. We can do that also with, all sorts of things. And if we get kind of confused, once we've kind of set everything, we can actually go down here and just only show adjusted envelopes, right? So we have this right here, and we can change this as well. And we can have multiple clips controlling the same VST, which is very useful. And we can get some really interesting stuff that way. And, it's an exaggerated example, but it kind of it explains my point and stuff. So yeah, that is that video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.